Hello, Georg. Can you hear me?
Hi, Val. Yes, I can hear you well. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm doing very well. Good to see you as well. Yeah, thanks for making time. This is about the changes coming up for Journal of Petrology, and we have planned for some data and data availability changes coming up, and I think it's good to share that with the authors. So thanks for making time and giving us a little run through that. So what's going to happen then in February next year?
In February, nothing much because the changes only start from March 1st, 2024.
Oh, I thought it's submissions from 29th of February. Doesn't it say that?
Up to 29th of February, you don't have any problems. And
oh, yes, exactly. Afterwards.
You may run into problems, but let's hope there aren't many problems because it should be a smooth transition. So this is really just a quick announcement. Basically, Journal of Petrology is following the FAIR principles.
Very good.
FAIR basically means fair data. And let me just share my screen.
Sure, go ahead.
About what that means, fair data. This is just a page from Wikipedia. Can you see that?
I can see that, yes.
Yeah. So fair data, FAIR stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And so data, geochemical and cosmochemical data, should adhere to the FAIR principles so that it can be shared and can be reused. Specifically, this is quite difficult at the moment, even though the data is typically findable as, say, supplementary materials.
Yeah.
Is it accessible in this case? Well, it's for some papers it is, but for others it's behind the paywall for those papers that are not open access, right? So that's a problem. So we want to make this data accessible. Is it interoperable? Well, probably not so interoperable because people upload their data in different ways.
Yes.
So it's quite difficult for people to compile different data sets. And it needs to be interoperable so that it is easily reusable and combinable with other data sets. Okay? So we want to make this data fair. Let me just go now to the
specifics of the JPET system, because fair data is a big thing. It's been around for a while, and I think it's very important that we all respect the principles of fair data. So I'm delighted to see the changes. And bring us to the JPET webpage, if that's okay.
So let me go here. You see that now?
I can see it, yes.
This is straight out of the instructions to authors. And of course, we, for a long time now, have had data availability statements where people said the data is available in the supplement. But from 1st of March 2024, we require the data to be deposited in specified domain repositories, okay? Both geochemical and cosmochemical research data needs to go there prior to submission of the paper. So this is actually already the case for most cosmochemical data. That needs to go into the Astromaterials data archive here. That is now a requirement. But for the geochemical data, there are various domain repositories that you can use, like the EarthChem library, GFZ data services, Pangea, and also the NOAA access portal.
Yes.
But the NOAA is probably not that relevant for us, although some geophysical data goes there. Okay. And that's
very useful to have several options there. I think this is very good. So users can choose their preferred option. And I think having, in this case, 5 different options makes it still very flexible. So I like that. Yeah, please
Yeah.
go on.
We also have to now deposit the software and the source code. We always had to have this available to the reviewers, but we now need to get DOI for that as well. And there's some explanation how you can maybe transfer data that is on GitHub to some depositories where that can get a DOI.
Can I quickly ask a question here?
Yes.
So imagine we are using a software like some magma chamber simulator things, they are published already. So there we can use a citation, I would think.
Yes, definitely. This is only for software code that you develop newly.
Exactly.
And that you put into your paper as part of the review process, and also for other authors to actually have access to and model their data with at a later point.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because I remember I read this paper a while back which said, oh, we have developed this iterative code that does filter the data in this or that way, but the author said it's not available for people outside the research team, and you kind of go, hello. So yeah. I was a bit frustrated there. So yeah. Thank you very much for clarifying.
So the other thing that I have insisted on is that the authors have also the option to, in addition to this, upload their data as supplementary data to the OUP file. Okay.
Very good.
Because some people may not be convinced that all of these libraries survive and the repositories survive forever. I'm pretty sure they will, because you know, just like DOI, these are identifiers that don't go bankrupt. But if you're very hesitant about this, you are more than welcome to also upload the data that you've uploaded here as supplementary files to as part of the submission. But during the submission process, we will check that the data is available, and of course it can be locked. You don't have to make it publicly available. There are ways to make that to deposit these the data in these databases, but lock them to the public until the paper is accepted.
Yes.
So then you just need to make that access code available for the reviewers and for the editors to actually check that the data is there and look at it. And then once the data is published, once the paper is accepted for publication, it's actually then the author's responsibility to make the data in these domain repositories public to everyone.
That sounds good. I personally think the option you mentioned about the supplementary material is something that I would consider quite seriously if I submit a paper, because I like the idea of having everything together, so in the same journal, and there's a direct connection between the data and the paper. So also when it comes to survival of any of these, then if the two things are together, this is less of an issue. Although I agree with you, I don't see any major problem for any of those systems here to, you know, maybe not forever, but they have a long longevity. That's
let's put it that way. Oxford University is what, 800+ years old, and these repositories are 25+ years old or so. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And we want to obviously make sure that it's there long term.
Absolutely.
But we also want to make sure that it adheres to FAIR principles. And actually, once you've deposited it there, and these databases will help you also provide all the metadata and so on. So once you've got it in there, it's very easy to copy paste it in that same format as a supplement. To JPEG, so that shouldn't be as a supplement. So
to
that
remove
shouldn't be an issue.
to remove the final concern that some people might have, even if any of these will not survive in the long run, I'm sure some successor system will actually take them on and make them part of something else or make backups of this. I cannot see that they will disappear forever in entirety. So I would be also very confident, like yourself, that this is a very safe bet option. So
yes.
great.
Okay, and that's basically almost it. There is a little section here on exceptions, okay? Authors may request an exception to the policy due to legal, privacy, ethical, or other limitations or restrictions, okay? And exceptions will be granted at the discretion of the journal. But really, it will happen rarely because I don't see that geochemical data is really restricted in any of these ways. So this is just basically for, in case something happens, that this can be done.
I can see this. It's good to have this option. I once was involved in an industry-funded project, and there was some legal limits, but then you have a time frame usually, and you shouldn't actually publish prior to, for example, you know, this period running out. And so in a way, I would also agree with you that this is a very rare thing. I cannot conceivably see a simple situation that would really qualify for this. So it would have to be a very exceptional situation. And then you have to actually ask, is the journal the right outlet for this? So I really think this is a 0 point whatever kind of option here. So very small probability that this would be a sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And so Journal of Petrology and all the editors are really excited to see your papers come in up to 29th of February without this, and from 1st of March 2024 with the DOIs for the data. So that will be really great to have. And by the way, the papers that this concerns the first submission. So if you have a paper that is currently undergoing major revisions and you only resubmit it after 29th of February, you don't then have to make the data available.
Okay, I see.
This really is for the papers that have first submission after 29th of February 2024.
I wonder a little bit now whether we get a wave of submissions in February, but let's see. I hope not. I hope people are
we might get a lot of first submissions in February.
That people are very keen on the FAIR
video.
principle. I would hope that this is something the community takes very seriously and is actually happy about.
Possibly we won't see any because they are all waiting to introduce that FAIR thing.
That might be the case, though I'm not sure. Let's see. So, okay, Georg, thank you very much for this summary. And then I would say I'm looking forward to this. It's a good kind of development for the journal and also for the community. So thank you for summarizing this for our readers. And yeah, all the very best and good luck to you.
Yeah, and thank you again.
Pleasure. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.